Year after year, it becomes harder and harder for Apple to sell iPhones to us. The ads are getting louder, the promises bolder, but the real changes we get each year are small, especially if we take into account how many other phones are out there. So I decided to take the iPhone 14 and find out whether the world of Android phones can offer me something better. And you won't believe what the phones I found can do. To remind you what we're dealing with, the iPhone 14 has a 6.1-inch 60Hz OLED display with 800 nits of peak brightness. The phone is made out of glass and aluminum with flat sides and slightly rounded edges. It has two 12-megapixel cameras on the back and one in the notch on the front. The A15 chip inside is from last year's flagship 13 Pro and has a 3279 mAh battery. Oh, and all that costs $799. So what can the world of Android phones offer us for the same price or less? Believe me, a lot. So $799 is a lot to ask already, but not every company is that greedy, especially Google. For example, Google is selling their flagship smartphone Pixel 7 Pro for the same price as the iPhone 14, $799 new. But if you go to Amazon and search for Pixel 7 Pro, you will quickly see that it can be found for as low as $650, and for that price, that's a bargain. Just look at what you're getting for that kind of money. For $650, it's beast of a phone with a massive 6.7-inch AMOLED display, 120Hz refresh rate, and slightly curved edges. The design itself is unique and very distinguishable, which I like. With Pixel 7 Pro, you will definitely stand out from the crowd if you're into that. As for the specs themselves, Pixel 7 Pro is powered by the second-gen Google-designed Tensor chip and has 8 gigs of RAM, which is double of that on the iPhone 14. And benchmarks, the Tensor G2 is slower by a fraction, which shouldn't be noticeable in real world. The battery here is also bigger, 5000 mAh, which gives it longer battery life than you can get from the iPhone 14. And let's not forget those cameras. That's where Pixel 7 Pro simply wipes the floor with the iPhone 14. The camera system is a triple lens setup, including a 50-megapixel primary sensor, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 48-megapixel telephoto lens. All cameras can record 4K video at 60 FPS, and not only the hardware is better, but also the software. Google has been perfecting its algorithms for years now, and let me tell you, they can do magic. Many people prefer Google's treatment of colors, shadows, and images in general, and for the most part, the camera itself is just as reliable as on the iPhone. So if you get one of these, you surely won't be disappointed with the camera, and as far as I'm concerned, with the phone in general. Next up, we have the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. I know it's not going to be a brand new phone, it will be refurbished by Amazon, but still, for $600, this phone packs a punch that's worth every penny. Just think of what you're getting. First things first, the display. S22 Ultra has a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED screen with buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate. This display is not only bigger than on the iPhone 14, has higher refresh rate, but also brighter, peaking at 1750 nits. But the display is only part of it. The chip inside you're paying for is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is a little slower in benchmarks than the A15 Bionic. It's paired with 8 or 12 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, but the ace up its sleeve are the cameras. Right off the bat, it has 4 of them. The main is 108 megapixels, ultra-wide is 12 megapixels, and zoom cameras. It has two 10 megapixel modules, 3x and 10x, which digitally goes up to 100x. You can shoot moon with this phone. Oh, and the main camera can shoot 8K 24 FPS, nothing special. But the fun doesn't stop there. There is one more hidden quirk, the S Pen. It's perfect for note-taking, sketching, or just using it as a camera remote. S22 Ultra is just too much of a phone for that kind of money. That's all. The third phone is even cheaper, but still very good. Nothing Phone 1. It's unlike any other phone out there, and we both know that. When you first lay eyes on it, you might think it's just another run-of-the-mill device, but the fun begins when you turn it around. Instead of hiding its internals, the Nothing Phone 1 proudly shows them, but does that in a stylish and subtle way. And let's not forget the attention-grabbing glyph interface, a unique white LED strip that lights up in different patterns. But it's not just just about looks. The Nothing Phone 1 also packs some impressive specs for the price. Its sleek design with squared-off sides, reminiscent of the latest iPhones, gives it a modern look. The 6.55-inch display has equal bezels all around, which is unusual for Android smartphones, and the 120Hz and HDR10 should make content consumption a real treat. Underneath that eye-catching exterior, the Nothing Phone 1 is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G Plus chipset with 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. This is more than enough for everyday tasks and even some gaming. Now let's talk about battery life. While it may not have the largest capacity, the 4500 mAh battery will still last you through the day or two. In terms of battery, I'm sure it will be better than the iPhone 14, that's for sure. The only weak spot of this phone, if you can call it that, are the cameras. The camera system scores 114 points on DxOMark, and a combo of a 50 megapixel main sensor paired with a 50 megapixel ultra-wide sensor does pack some serious kick, especially if you have straight hands. Overall, it's a very unusual looking phone that gives everything you need and more, effectively combining the best from iPhones and from Android. And it costs only $400 on Amazon, so what you're waiting for? Go grab it. Okay, $400 is still not the lowest we can go. How about $300? Can we find something for $300? Of course we can. How about the Pixel 6? Yup, you can snatch it for only $275 right now. On Amazon, it frequently goes on sale, but if you won't manage to get the Pixel 6, you can always opt for Pixel 6a, which is even cheaper. But what about that Pixel 6? For $275, you're gonna get a real flagship phone with flagship specs, screen, and cameras. The Pixel 6 features a 6.4-inch OLED screen with a 90Hz refresh rate. It's still better than on the iPhone 14, and it's over 2 times cheaper, so don't judge. Under the hood, you'll find the first Gen Tensor chip alongside 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. Equipped with a 4614 mAh battery, Pixel 6 offers all-day usage on a single charge and a fast charging. But the main focus of this phone is its camera system. The Pixel 6 features a dual camera system, including a 50 megapixel primary sensor and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor. With Google's advanced computational photography and software algorithms, you can be sure your photos will be amazing every time. The night sight mode ensures excellent low-light photography as well, and even if it will be worse than iPhone 14 in some cases, it's over 2 times cheaper. Don't forget, Pixel 6a is basically the same but slightly worse in terms of camera. Still a great phone though. And it will get all software updates from Google really fast, which makes it better than any Xiaomi on the market. But what if even $250 is too much? Don't worry, even for $200, you still can get a decent phone. Beware Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. It retails for $200 and is an entry model for Samsung. But even for that price, it still has 5G. So what will you get for $200? A14 5G offers a plastic build, moderate camera system, and lacks water resistance. However, it surprises with a decent performance. Samsung's Exynos 1330 processor, a 90Hz refresh rate display, expandable storage, a 50 megapixel main camera, and 5G connectivity. Of course, you shouldn't expect it to beat the iPhone 14 in any way, but for $200 it offers a great amount of things you may need and even more. Samsung has really nailed this one. There are many other phones to consider, but we can't include them all, so if you want to see more content like this, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you are in the market for a new phone, don't be afraid to try something new, explore new manufacturers, new models, new price categories. I'm sure with this guide, your next phone will be great. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.